Welcome to the first ever hybrid huddle. Today, we're going to talk about 2026 goals. These calls, I just want to keep them like pretty casual. Obviously, no one has like really joined. It's like the first one, so I'm expecting like in the future more people to come. And yeah, we got my sister on the call. Feel free to introduce yourself. She's one of the moderators in the community. And yeah, Maddie, feel free to introduce yourself.
All right. Hi, everyone. I'm Nigel's sister. um, I decided to join this wonderful group just to kind of get more insight into the whole like hybrid athlete community and just lifestyle. Um, I am a former track athlete, not like college or like pro level, but just, in high school ran track and field, really love, the fitness community, working out, strength training, running. I'm actually getting back into running again, mostly focusing on more like speed, endurance, explosiveness, more of the sprint side of running. And then, of course, right now I'm actually working on strength and conditioning, kind of getting back into the swing of things. Really enjoying it. A little bit of, muscles are kind of feeling it. Tweaked a little bit, especially my lower back, but we're getting back in to strengthening those muscles, and I feel pretty good.
Yeah, very cool. Yeah. So yeah, Maddie and I, we've got backgrounds in track and field. We did like 400 meters, like 400 hurdles. So that's kind of like our background and like what we like are like trained in. And then nowadays, like I don't know, like I'm not gonna lie, like I'm getting unk status, like I'm like 31 years old. But I still want to keep fit. I want to like be, an athlete for life. Which is like why I created this community. Like I wanted to build like a space where other people that want to be master multiple like training modalities like strength, speed, endurance, and live that lifestyle for life. Just because like I don't know, me personally, like I don't really agree with like, oh, like I just go to the gym and like I'm like this meathead and I can't like do cardio. I'm out of breath in like 2 seconds. Or like even the other side where it's like, oh, like I just do long distance and I got no muscle and I'm like weak. So like I really believe in the concept of being a hybrid athlete and like creating like specific goals and like ways of training that like fit best for you. So for example, like me right now, like I'm focused on building a lot of endurance while maintaining strength. And then from what it sounds like, Maddie is focused more on getting that like speed and power and like a little bit of speed endurance while like, building strength and muscles and like building mobility. So like we're all gonna have like different like unique paths as well. Um, which is great. So, and obviously, like the most like standard like hybrid athlete, like I don't know, in the culture right now is like running and lifting, like long distance running. And I mean that's the personal path I'm going down, but like you don't have to go down that specific path. Like you could be more of like what Maddie's doing, right? Like more like speed and like building muscle and things like that. Or even like in the community right now, I think like Neil, he's like big on like building speed right now. He's doing like hill sprints and intervals like almost every other day. So like you can make it however you want. So yeah. Um, Anything else that you would like to add, Maddie, before we get into the topic?
Yeah, I feel that like especially with a community online, you get to see different like you said, different aspects of hybrid training. It doesn't have to be exactly like you said, like, there's like ends of the spectrum, of course. Like you got like the speed training, sprint training, or you got the long distance marathon running training. um, but like of course, like with marathon running and training, you do have to work in that speed as well. So you can learn a lot from someone who, like myself, like working on speed, sprint mechanics and acceleration and things like that. So I think it's just cool to see how much you can learn from this community and incorporate it into your training if it works out, to improve your program. So
Yeah, 100%. Very cool. Yeah, so the topic of today, we'll be talking about, planning for 2026. I'm just gonna like walk you through like personally like how I plan my goals, like how I structure my training, how I do it in phases, how I, periodize my training. And yeah, just like hope it gives like, people inspiration on like how they can structure it in the right way. Just because I mean, me personally, like I tend to work best when I have some sort of plan, and it's not to say that having a plan is meant to
Mhm.
like put you in a prison where you have to do X, Y, and Z. It's more of like a guide, and obviously, as plans can like change over time, right? So it's just
Yeah.
giving you like a sense of direction rather than like you haphazardly just like wake up today. It's like, oh, like I don't know what to do. Like I'm just randomly gonna do this, you know.
Mhm.
And I think that approach, in my opinion, it works best in terms of like giving you something to look forward to and like having training that's like structured in a way that actually will get you the results and like the progress that you want. So um, what I typically do is like every year I like pretty much I'm kind of like a spreadsheet guy, right? So like you don't have to get into like this level of like detail. I'm just showing you like what I do. But typically where I start is like I figure out like what kind of events and like overarching like goals and benchmarks that I want to hit for the year. So for me, a big thing that I want to focus on is I want to get back into like running a lot of road races. And one of my like top goals, like one of my dreams is to qualify for the Boston Marathon. So I have to hit like a certain like goal, a certain time in order to qualify for that. And so what I do is I look for like the best races throughout the year near where I live. So I personally, I live in Brazil. So I'm mainly looking at different like half marathons and full marathons in like Sao Paulo and Rio, the city called Floripa. And they actually have the fastest like marathon course. And they have it in late August. So like that's like my big like I kind of call the I prioritize like each race. So this is like my A plus like top focus race.
Mhm.
And then from there, like I'm doing like these different build ups. So like throughout the year, these local 5Ks, 10Ks that I'm doing. I have like certain goal paces that I have, and then there's like some like tune up races. So like a few in Sao Paulo, one in Rio as well. And then at the end of the year, just to kind of wrap things up, I want to do like my first one or two Hyroxes, and that's still up for like TBD. There's like typically one in Rio every year in like December, and then I'll probably do one in the US. And so like that's where I start from. Like, what are the coolest races and events that I want to do? And then like I'll reverse engineer that into like different training phases, right? So like I'll have like a training phase one where it's like the base building. Then I want to build a bit more speed on top of that. And then I kind of get into more of like that focused marathon build so I can hit my time to qualify for Boston. And then I'll start to like slow down a bit on the like the running and the volume and do a bit more like functional strength training and like strength endurance to like build up for like a high rocks. Um, so that's kind of like how I think about things. To start from like because I think you need to have like an inspiring goal that motivates you and then reverse engineer everything that you want to do for your training and like your how you periodize your training on top of that. Um, Maddie, I'll turn it back to you. Like,
Mhm.
do you have any like specific like top goals or benchmarks that you want to hit? It doesn't have to be like obviously like I'm doing like races and things like that. But
Right.
like how would you think about like what your top like goals would be for 2026?
Definitely, um, in terms of speed training, that's something I'm trying to figure out, you know? Um, like, obviously, I wanna run faster, I wanna be stronger, but in order to measure that, I'm gonna have to, like, I definitely wanna improve all of my compound lifts, like, I definitely wanna increase
Hmm.
strength, I definitely want to be more explosive. One of my big goals is definitely to work on like the biomechanics of running and just improving my form, improving uh just top end speed, things like that. And of course, I'm going to get more into detail like structuring how, your training is for the year and your goals kind of I'll have to go through and kind of structure and how plan how I'm going to get to that point. So,
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. I think one thing that might help you is do like a baseline test.
yeah.
Um, so obviously with like the mechanics and things like that, like there's no like hard like metric that you can use to measure like, okay, my mechanics are this and then it improved to
Mhm.
that. So that's a bit subjective. But I
Yeah.
think for like the speed stuff, if you have like specific distances, you could literally like go out and do like a time trial. So for example, like
Yeah.
I recently did like a 5K at like Thanksgiving when I was back in Rochester. And then like
Mhm.
the 1K, I should actually probably change this. I'm 304 now. um and to, figure out, like, where your current, like, fitness is right now, and then even on,
Yeah.
like, the strength part. So, like, yesterday I went and I did, um, a bench and a pull-up kind of test. So, like, right now I can bench just about, like, 100 kg, so I'm in, like, the strong hybrid kind of benchmark for that, and then in the pull-ups, I did 15. I was a bit tired, so I'll probably do it again.
Mhm.
And so, like, do these, like, different, like, baseline, like, tests to see, like,
Yeah.
where you're at, and then determine, like, okay, well, for the year or like within the next 3 months or so, like, figure out like what your goal is, and then like
Mhm.
that gives you like a north star, like a way to actually like measure, like, are you getting closer to that goal.
Yeah.
So like obviously yours is going to be different than me. Like me, I'm looking at like long distance race times, and
Right.
then like these different like lift, like these benchmarks and these different like lifts.
Mhm.
So like yours, you'll have to structure it differently. Like you'll probably be doing like different like sprint training, and then more like qualitative type of stuff, like
Yeah.
how stable do you feel, like how good are your like your biomechanics and things like this, and maybe some like key lifts that you want to focus on, like do you know what those lifts are, or is it
Yeah.
similar to this?
Like your squat, your bench, your deadlift, the like the main one. It's also, I mean, I've been trying to incorporate some Olympic lifts and some kind of
Mm,
like the snatch or like the kind of um like the jerk or stuff like that just to kind of work on that like explosiveness. Um so I do most of those like, you know, in the beginning stages. Of course, I'll still do that, like, even leading up to, like, peak where I wanna be, in training, but, definitely kinda getting, like, the basis of, like, the movement down and then kinda seeing, like, how I can improve it in terms of, like, quantitative, like you said, like, going up in weight, you know?
mhm. Yeah,
So
yeah, for sure. Like how are you like tracking your lifts, like how do you know like where you're at right now?
I definitely like I work with a trainer right now, but yeah, we track like on a weekly basis, like where we're at, like especially like bench, squat, um, deadlifts. Deadlifts is like my strongest out of those three, but um yeah, we kind of we try to like push a little bit each week or like what's the term? The
Like progressive overload.
progressive overload, yeah, progressive overload, like, kinda just add on each week as much as we can, kinda improve the explosiveness out of the movement, like, especially when you're coming out of,
Mhm,
like, the bottom part from the when you're benching or, like, when you're coming up into the squat, like, really just, like especially as a sprinter, like, you really gotta explode out of that movement, so I'm working on coming up really fast, but, like, of course, like, increasing the weight is, how you know you're getting stronger, so
yeah, that's for sure. um yeah, cool. So like it sounds like you have somewhat of a foundation. Like, do you have like a place where you like write down like all this different stuff? So, for example, like you write down like what your current, I don't know, like your current, like like how much you can do for like those key lifts that you're focusing on, like what you're currently at, and then like a goal. Do you have that like that actually like written down, like
yeah,
instead of
right now,
yeah?
I definitely have it in my notes in my phone, which is kinda, like, not really structured, but
It's still
I know
something.
yeah, like, back in high school and I actually still have, like, all my, from all my lifts, like, when I was in high school, how much I was doing, and, we used it in, like, Google Sheets or whatever, and
Hmm.
so I think I'm gonna incorporate that again because then you can kinda see from, like, week to week, you know what I mean? Or, like, whichever phase you're in, um, and, like, see, like, how you're progressing. I think it's a little more organized that way versus just, like, putting it, like, did, you know, 125 last week. Just that and not really like writing anything specific,
Hmm.
Like how many sets, reps, things like that would be good. I don't usually write that, but yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and you should probably do the time trials as well, just to see, just to
Yeah.
see, like, I don't know, like what are the distances like you'd be like focusing on? let's just see, like,
Honestly,
just to check your speed.
I definitely wanna do, like, 200, to
Mhm.
start, but, like, in terms of endurance training for sprints, I'll probably do some, like, 300s at most,
Yeah,
um, just to kinda work on that, like, endurance aspect, but, yeah, 100,
yeah,
200, like, the main ones I would wanna work on.
yeah. So, yeah, when you actually come to Brazil and you're coming in, like, 10 days, 10, 11 days.
Yeah,
Yeah.
literally 10, yeah.
Yeah, so you know what we should do? We should go to the track and just do like a time trial for like some of these distances just to see because I've done 1K time. I know where my 1K fitness is at. I know where my 5K, but I don't even know what my 100, 200, 300, or 400 like
Yeah.
paces are. And like
Yeah,
I just want to know. So like
I be humbled, but, all great athletes, they come from a certain point, and then they just improve, so,
Yeah. Yeah, and that's not the thing is it's like the purpose of like getting these baselines is not to be like, "Oh,
yeah.
I'm shit, like I'm bad, like I'm not where I," it's just to know, okay, where are you at right now? And it just
Yeah,
gives you like a compass to be like, okay, like all right, we're going in this direction. Because I think the one
right.
thing too is like, at least for me, I get motivated when I start seeing like progression. And like you can
Yeah.
only know if you're progressing if you've actually like measured it, like things from like a baseline to like where you're trying to go in the future.
Mhm.
And so for me, when I start seeing that, then I get like really like
Yeah.
motivated. And obviously, like even if you aren't seeing progress, like the fact that you're showing up is still, in my opinion, progress. You know?
Yeah, definitely, definitely. I've even thought about, like, later on, because like, obviously, like, we had, like, Junior Olympics, like, we signed up during the summer, like, went to, like, track meets, but, like, they had, like, all ages there, like, I could even go to a track meet and just, like, test it out if there's one, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just, like, summertime, like, test out how my speed is, and, I also even saw something with, like, USTF, masters. I don't know, it just
I
seems
might
like,
do that. I'll be real.
I might as well try it out. Um, but yeah, so
Very cool. Yeah. So I mean, yeah, me personally, I'm excited for 2026. Like, I'm just happy that I'm not like in pain anymore, like with
yeah,
my SI joint. Like
mhm,
it's so terrible. That might be another topic for like to because the you can talk about like the McGill thing, like how you're because you started facing some like lower
yeah,
back type of stuff. I was dealing with that, and it's just the worst thing, you know.
it is,
Um,
yeah. Actually,
so
it's so interesting because I'm like, now I'm thinking, I'm like, it's not SI joint pain. It's actually like I think I just strained there was like a part of the glute, like upper glute area, where I like really strained it. I think it
mm,
overcompensated when I was like
yeah,
lifting, but I'm glad it's not true SI joint pain. But I have
yeah,
dealt with that before, and a lot of like athletes and like a lot of people deal with that. So there's ways to strengthen your core, and it totally improved like everything from there.
yeah, sure.
So
All right, very cool. Yeah, I'll wrap it up here. But before we end it, I need like an outside perspective. Obviously, like this community is only it's just about 2 months old, and I'm still learning and figuring things out. Like this is the first time I'm like building a
yeah,
community and like, I want to get like feedback from other people. Like, what are some things that you think you personally would like to see and like get excited about, or like what you think other people could as well. I'm figuring out as we go. Like I'm open to feedback. Like I want to make this a place where um people can like really get value out of. So just like want to hear like your perspective.
yeah. Um, I think what you have like with the challenges, I think that makes it more
Mm,
exciting, fun. People can relate to each other or get tips off of each other, like, hey, this worked for me. Um, I think, yeah, just kind of, I know like engagement is key, obviously as a community we want to be more engaged to kind of not only get to know each other, but just like build upon what we have in terms of like you know, training or just like even just a discussion, just kind of like on major topics that you
Mhm.
just are interested in knowing more about, just whether it's strength training, running, anything. So I think just more discussions. I don't know. I think it with time also, more people will kind of
Yeah.
uh, put their input and say, "Hey, like, I would really benefit from this," and then we can, incorporate more of that. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, no, I agree 100%. Like, I think the challenges are gonna be, like, the most important thing, like, early on as, like, more
mm,
people start to come in. So yeah, right now planning on, like, a challenge for January. Obviously right now, like, the December 1K challenge is definitely, like, you're in an advantage if you're, like, fast at, like, a 1K-ish
mm,
distance.
yeah.
And so it might be a bit discouraging for some people that aren't focused on, like, running that
Mm,
kinda distance, and it's more so, like, performance based, so I wanna figure out, like, a challenge that can combine it's, like, rewards mostly, I think, like, consistency and, like, being I don't know, I'm trying to, like, describe it, like, you're someone that's committed it rewards people that are committed to the process of, like, hybrid athlete training.
mhm,
And then maybe there might be, like, I guess, like, bonus, like, points or, like, multiple like, bonus points you can get if you, like, are performing at, like, a super high level, or if,
yeah.
like, maybe you get bonus points if you're able to make progress on top of, like, a baseline that you built. So I'm still trying to figure it out before January. Um, so
Yeah, if I think of any ideas, I'll definitely add to that. Um, that would be more inclusive, you know?
mhm,
Yeah, I think that would be getting kind of like more ideas from community, the members of this group, just to see what they would like to be challenged about. Because again, this is also to kind of hold you accountable for like you and your goals, right? So,
mhm. Yeah, for sure. Cool, cool. All right, so we'll close it right there. And next week there won't be a hybrid huddle. It's Christmas on next Thursday, so the week after. And I think Maddie, you'll probably the week after is is New Year. Okay, so there's not going to be a hybrid huddle until like
yeah,
3 weeks from now, basically, which is fine.
yeah.
So all right, yeah. Hopefully,
So
those that are watching got some value out of this, and we'll see you next time in 3 weeks.